Hello, and welcome back to the Ask the Color Expert podcast. Today's special guest is Michele Madjid. She is the inventor of the Colorist board. I am so excited to have her here live, all the way from Australia. It was quite a project finding a time for both of us. She has two little ones at home. She's got this brand new product that she's killing it with, and she's also in the salon. So she is a busy gal. So welcome to the podcast, Michele.
Thank you so much for having me.
You're so adorable with your little accent. I could just listen to you talk all day long. So, everything happens for a reason. And I just wrapped up, not just, but I wrapped up an in person event in early May here in Florida. And for the first time, on stage at an event, I talked about my passion for color analysis and how I think that hairstylists can really make themselves stand out in their market by providing services that are not just simply, cover the gray and call it a day. So many of us are just like, oh, she just asked for gray coverage. I gave her gray coverage. She asked for blonde. I gave her blonde. But I always say in my trainings, did you look at the person? There's a person under that hair. Sometimes I think when people are doing hair, it's like they've taken the hair off the person's head and put it on a block and just provided something to the hair without looking at the person. And it's so important for skin tone, eye color. Does the person wear makeup? Do they not wear makeup? You don't want to give them a hair color that they now need makeup for. So I talked about it and people got so excited about it. And I had the typical fabric drapes at the event, and they were very, very expensive. I imported them from Germany. They were ridiculously expensive. And I was like, most hairdressers aren't going to spend that money to buy these drapes to do this when they're doing 8 million other things. There has to be a better way. And then your colorist board pops up on my social media. My dear friend Christina Russell had you on her podcast and showed off the product. My members that were at the retreat, I think, were the first people to order your board because we were talking about it at the retreat. And they were so excited that they now have this tool. So I'm raving about this tool, but people listening have no idea what I'm talking about. So I'm going to be quiet and let you talk about where you came up with the idea, how you use it, and what an amazing thing it is to be a standalone service in the salon.
Well, for me, this journey started probably over the last 7 or 8 years, really. I found that I had a lot of clients who follow trends, which I guess is most of our clients. But in particular, I tend to do Oriental or Asian hair quite well. And so I had a lot of clients who just wanted to be an ash brown, which thankfully I was able to achieve. But I would always really look at their face and go, but should you be wearing an ash brown? Is it just because it's what people want? Because it's completely different to what you have. Um, and then moving forward, the ash blonde, ash balayage, really, it was huge before COVID hit. And I had so many clients that I was toning their hair to be ashy, and I could just see they looked completely pale. And I was
Mm-hmm.
thinking they shouldn't be wearing that, but I don't know. I don't know if they should or if they shouldn't, but I can see that it doesn't look good. And then it made me think back to my apprenticeship with Tony and Guy. One of the salon owners that I worked with, he was like, "Can you see the pink in their skin? They're definitely blah 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 blah." And I was like, "I can't see it. Like I don't have the magic lens. Like give me your glasses. Show me what you see." And then Cowboy Copper came in, and I was completely stumped. And I thought something has to change. So I started thinking about what's a way that I can find a client's skin tone? Obviously, color analysis was kind of starting to come about. And honestly, one day I just woke up and I had this idea to create a board. And the progression of how it looked in my mind, one was like, the old school sun visors that
I
people
was
used
just
to
thinking,
lay and
yeah, when
have
you put the baby
the
oil on
reflector.
the shield.
Yeah. Yeah, so that's kind of what I was thinking initially, and then the three sides to have like cool, warm, and neutral. And then I thought that's not going to work. And so I just kept ordering different things, literally cutting and pasting like I was 4 years old, sticking onto cardboard, folding it into like a dinner menu, going, well, this side can be this, and then this side can have like if you can wear red, if you can wear copper, if you can wear gold. Like it really, the progression was incredible. And then I found a graphic designer and I just said to her, this is everything that I need. It's not my forte, like creating a product physically. Help me. And yeah, it took maybe 3 or 4 months of us going backwards and forwards. And as a hairdresser, I'm so visual. So I needed to print it out every time she sent me a mock up. And I was like, no, it has to include Asian people. It has to include people of color. I really need like a blurb to explain creatively to hairdressers, like cool winter is like a refreshing jump into the ocean. So really we're hitting every nail on the head. Um, and if you're dyslexic, you can just look at the pictures. If you're a creative writer, you can read the little blurb. If you're pinpoint, let's have a look at the characteristics in point form. So really a lot of time and effort and thought went into the booklet. And here we are. Now I have a 16-page booklet that's very sturdy. It can travel internationally. You can hopefully not, but fling it into the back room. Like the edges won't bend. And it has allowed me to really see my clients and say, you should not be wearing gold hair. I actually know that you should have a clean ash blonde or a dark copper brunette, or yeah, it's really elevated and transformed the way that I do hair.
I love that, and I love that it's making a comeback. Like, I, as a little girl, remember my mom having all of her friends over, and they all got their color done, and that's really the last time I heard it talked about was, in the late '70s, early '80s, women were, "Oh, I'm an autumn, I'm a spring, I'm a," and then when I brought it up, like, in the late '90s into 2000, people were like, "What are you talking about?" So again, same thing with the iterations. I started out with just a gold or a silver fabric. And a lot of times that's not enough. And I'm sure you found that now that you created the 16 pages, that
Yeah,
sometimes between gold and silver, you're like, I don't really know. And even the drapes that I told you I got from Germany, when I would put them around someone, sometimes it really wasn't very obvious. Where I've seen your board just on Instagram posts and I see the difference in the person's face in the photograph. So, like, I
yeah,
know that your product definitely does the job of highlighting. You can see them lose the color in their lips, or they'll turn really pale when they looked more bright and pink in another shade. So it's amazing, how much the right color palette can light someone up. And the average person, I'll give an example. This client came to me. She was the mother of one of my regular clients I had done for years. And she said, nobody ever gets my color right. I hope that you do. This is my last time trying this. And she starts describing what she wants. And it's super cool and ash. I'm looking at her skin and I'm like, I don't love that idea. But I'm like, she said nobody gets it right. So I said, I'm just going to give you my opinion. I think with your skin tone, you should be a little more on the golden side, not brassy 14 karat, but more, a rich, buttery, soft blonde. And she said, no, I just want cool. I want ash. I want cool. I want ash. So I give her what she wants. And she calls the next day and says, I look so washed out. I
yeah,
don't like it. It's so flat. It's so this. And I said, well, we had that conversation. I told you I thought you needed to be buttery blonde. So I said, come back in. We'll take a look at it. And I said, let's go through a magazine. And she picks out the most buttery, gorgeous blonde, the color that I wanted her to be, and said, this color right here, this cool color. So she was pointing to gold and describing it as ash. So I think a lot
yeah,
of times things in the terminology get lost in translation. Another example is when a client, you put the highlights in and they say, I want to be blonder. It's, do they want more pieces of the color that you gave them, or do they want the color to be a lighter, brighter shade, but the same amount of pieces? So I think a tool like this, and I love that you take the time to take a photograph so that you can show them, besides being in the mirror, you're showing them in a photograph, like, look at what that just did for you, how much it changed
Mhm.
your face. It's really cool.
That's the key. And I don't feel like within the booklet I've highlighted enough how important it is that you take a photo. I recently did an impromptu education at TAFE, which is where you learn to become a hairdresser in Australia. So when you start an apprenticeship, you'll go to TAFE 1 day a week. And while I was there, none of the people who were attending this master colorist course knew that I was coming. I didn't even know that I was going to do education. I was just invited along. And I was like, I've got my kids. Let me see what I can do. So God has a way of making it work. And I turned up and I hosted a little education thing for 2 hours. And it's interesting because hairdressers are really hard to teach. If they don't want to know, you know that they don't want to know. They will make it completely obvious to you. And I'm very gentle. So I can be railroaded in some instances. So I have to try and be like puppy power and be strong.
Puppy power. I love it.
And it was so refreshing for me when I stood up to see everyone go to the edge of their chair. Some people
Nice.
from the edges stood up. They really were like, "What is this product? Like, tell me more." And yeah, as I was teaching them, we're looking through a mirror. So it's not a direct way. You're not facing your client going, "Oh, I can see these changes happening in your skin." You're looking through it from a distance. So if there's a palette that I think these are the positive highlights that I can see in your skin. Let's take a photo. And then you take the photo and then at the end compare it. I actually will grab my phone, sit next to the client, because when you go for lunch with a friend, you're going to sit down and talk to each other. So as a hairdresser, I feel like we've lost that connection. So everyone just stands behind and plays with the front of the client's hair while they're trying to talk. So I really try to remove that and I sit beside them. We have a look through the photos together. And I think for me, seeing those hairdressers be completely blown away, saying, "Oh my gosh, their eyes are no longer visible. I couldn't tell that he had blue eyes." The contrast of his lips versus the chin, like so different. So it again continues to cement to me that having the images and comparing them together makes such a difference. And I do wish that every page of the booklet, I wrote a little thing saying, take a photo, take a photo, take a photo, keep comparing all of your images together. Um, so, yeah, taking the photo is really important.
I love it. And I love that you were able to wow someone in school. And it's funny, you said you're timid. I'm not timid at all. And I will go in to teach at a beauty school. And I'm so excited to be there because these are the minds of our future and future generations that we need so much. And I'm just so high energy and excited to be in front of them sharing. And they all or leaning back in their seats with their arms crossed. It's kind of like, oh, we have to be here. We don't have a choice kind of thing. And
Mm,
I'll call people, I'll be like, I taught a Zoom class from my house to a beauty school. And I'm talking about something that was a big nugget of information. It was a really good thing to know. And this girl had her head down and was on her phone the whole time. So I continued to teach. And I said, for example, the girl in the front row who has a Pepsi bottle on her station, she's been on her phone this whole entire time and she's not paying attention. So all of you are going to do so much better than she is when you get out of here because she didn't listen to anything that I just said. And she's not going to have the information to set herself apart. And she like looked and saw the Pepsi on her table, like, oh crap, it's me. And the other ones, their faces were like, holy crap, she just called her out. I'm like, I'm
mhm,
donating my time. Like, don't be so disrespectful and don't think that you know everything when you're sitting there in school because, honey, you don't. So be open to it, be open to the information, and you're giving them a gift. That's something that every person in that room can go into a salon in Australia tomorrow and they're going to stand out from a woman or man who's been there for 20 years because they have a new thing that's exciting that women are going to want to have their color done and it's going to introduce people to them as their colorist and they're going to trust that person because they were
Yeah.
different and they stood out. And that's such a belief of mine, is like, be different, be so, know who you are as a brand and stand out and have something that no one else has to get you started. Then you can do everything. But when you're starting
Yeah.
out, I love the signs when people say, "We are specialists. We specialize in women's cuts, men's cuts, kids cuts, braiding, waxing." They name every service on their menu and say, "We specialize in dot dot dot." I'm like, that's not a
Hmm.
specialty, So this is such a great thing right now in the industry where, I just took a screenshot today of a product that L'Oreal created for the consumer, and it's this vibrating comb that applies color for them. And it's,
What?
in US, it's like $150 for the device, and it comes with a cartridge that is 3 retouches of color. So I'm like, "Come on, L'Oreal. Like, did you have to make that for the consumer? Why not make it for the hairdresser who's getting carpal tunnel from putting so many retouches on? Give us a vibrating applicator?" So it's like everybody's racing to give everybody the cheaper, easier, like, "Here, come over here, come over here. We're the cheapest, we're the fastest, we're the this, we're the that." And it's like you really have to carve out something for yourself to stand out in such a busy world of social media and all of the things.
I will never cheapen who I am and my service. And because I am timid, which I get told a lot, and people think I'm like 24 years old, but I'm like, I'm 39 years old, trying to be strong. Um, I have really strong business boundaries. And if a client will message me and go, "Oh, how much is this? Like, can you do it for this?" I'll politely say, "I don't think I'm the right hairdresser for you." And if you no show to your appointment, you're blocked. Like, I have the strictest boundaries for my business, and people will respect that. Um, and I think how that will go in terms of the color board, if you're a hairdresser who is lazy and cuts corners and talks over your clients and is messy in your application, the colorist board is not for you. You wouldn't, they are not the hairdresser who would want to invest in the money, the education, and the time to use this product. And same for your clients. If you have clients who don't care about their hair and they want the cheapest experience, they're not they're not the right client for you. And also, I think being gentle and highlighting the positives when you're using the color board. This is something that I really learned when we were at TAFE this week. Looking at someone and saying, "Oh, your rosacea is crazy. You've got all this redness. Look at how red your nose is. Like, no, you look so pale. Like, ugh, this is terrible for you." The experience of the colorist board is not to highlight every flaw so you feel disgusting by the end of your appointment. It's to say, "I can see you've got a flush. I can see that your lips have lost their coloring. Wow, your eyes have really popped." I think wrapping them up and saying, "You're going to look amazing. Let's just trust this process of like eliminating what doesn't work," is going to be key to making sure that your clients feel really seen and heard, which in our current financial times, I'm not sure about America, but in Australia, the last sort of year, the interest rates for mortgages have gone like four
Same here.
times what they were. So people are really struggling. And there's a local mums Facebook group called Mums of the Shire, which is God's country, Sutherland Shire of south of Sydney. And every day there's like 4 or 5 posts saying, "I really want to get good foils for a really cheap price." So for me, being a hairdresser, I have to elevate my service. I have to make sure that my client experience is worth every dollar that they spend, and offering things like refreshments that are custom to their needs. If you're gluten free and you come to my home salon, I have like 3 gluten free options. I have sugar free fizzy drinks. I have a coffee machine. You want to have hazelnut syrup in your coffee. Like, all of these little things make them go, "Wow, spending $350 for foils, a toner, and a haircut was worth it." and they get to have the colorist board. They actually know that they can wear soft pastel blues and have a really crisp beige blonde. Like, not many salons offer that. So people will choose me over going somewhere else that they're not getting that experience.
Have you found that you're getting a ton of referrals just because of the color board service?
I get a ton of referrals in general. I think a lot of, because I'm actually in a unit and I don't have any signage. So I'm like a hidden little gem in the suburbs of San Susie. So I do tend to get mostly referrals, but I have had a lot of new clients booking in who have found me through social media for the color board.
Nice.
Yeah. And that's the most exciting part. Sorry to cut you off. You have clients coming, like I have clients coming to me who want to know their color analysis, which means that they're ready for a change. They want to look better. And that's exciting. That's really makes me excited.
I see it being something that, a lot of people will sneak out of work at lunch or they'll sneak out early to go get their hair done. I can see this being the around the water cooler conversation the next day in the office because so often people go to a new hairstylist and it's just the same kind of vibe and feeling that they had at the last one. It's like the hair's okay, the experience was okay, like nothing really stood out, nothing really was unique. But to go into talk to people the next day and be like, I've realized I've been wearing the wrong lipstick for the past 5 years
Mhm.
and it was the wrong shade for me. My closet is full of, blue reds and I should really be wearing orangey red. And those
Yes.
examples that can really change everything, your makeup, your
Yeah.
wardrobe, everything about how you
Yeah.
look.
And that's where the color swatches will come in.
So tell
And
us
it,
about the color swatches.
so basically, once your client knows what season they are, they will ask you, "Oh, can I take a photo of the palette so that way I can go and check what's in my wardrobe?" So to eliminate that, they can just buy a pack of swatches. So there will be 16 color cards that will be a basic range of colors that you can wear for your skin tone. If your client wants to know exacts of lipsticks and the exact shade of orange that they should wear, and they want something that's the next level, then I would refer my client to go and see a professional color analysis. We are hairdressers who have a tool to help find their client's skin tone. Yes, it includes all of the sub seasons, which a lot of color analysis, professional color analysis, will only tell you if you're a summer or a winter, or they'll have a fancy name if you're a clear spring. And so then you can never actually do any online research. So that's a big thing I've noticed. Clients are coming and going, "Oh, I'll just make up something. I'm like a boosted berry spring." What is that? So if your clients are coming to you because you have the colorist board, they will know they are a clear spring. Here's 16 color swatches. You go shopping, come back in 8 weeks and show me how amazing you look. And it happens. I have clients coming in that are wearing pastel sky blues. I've never seen them in 3 years wearing pastel blue,
That's
and they
fun.
look amazing. So I feel like I'm changing my client's experience as a whole. It's when they're at home, it's when they're going shopping, it's how they feel every day.
I love that. Love it. Um, what's another question I was going to ask you? Oh, when we chatted on the phone, you said that a really high percentage of your sales has already been from the US. And I love that people have found you from the
Yeah,
US. Talk about the power of social media. You do a great job on your social media.
thank
I
you.
found you on Christina's Christina Talks Color, I think it or Color Christina Talks is her podcast.
Mhm.
I love Christina. Her and I do a lot of collaborations together. I feel like we've known each other forever. We've never met in person. But she had you on there and it was a great podcast. I was walking on the beach and I'm like, I have to reach out to her because I just love this so much. So I can't wait to share the colorist board with the members of my hair color group. I can't wait to bring the color board to my salon. I'm headed back to PA to my salon next week. And I can't wait to tell the colorists there that we're going to start doing these services for people as a new service that's fun. Some of our clients have been coming to us for 25 years. So have fun instead of them just sitting there while they process, to play with the board and have a look
Yeah.
to see, what color is in their future that they may be avoiding right now. It's very exciting. So tell people how they can find you, how they can find the board, your education, all of the things.
Instagram is the anchor for everything. There's links in my bio that will take you to every other thing that you need. It's the Colorist board. So colorist spelled the Australian way, COLOUR. And the Instagram handle is at the Colorist board.
That's very smart and very easy. I have so many different names of all my different pages. I did not go the cohesive journey with that. And I wish I would have just done my name. It would have been a heck of a lot easier, but somebody has my name on Instagram and she's not giving it up. So the Colorist board is where you can find Michele and her amazing product. And she has more products coming up in the very near future that she's working on, that she's very excited about. And I'm just so happy to have her here and be able to share her with my Ask the Color Expert audience. And I hope that you will check out, especially her Instagram, to see the ways that she's using it and how much of an amazing service it is and such an easy thing to add on to your service menu. So thank you so much, Michele, for being here. This has been so much fun. And I can't wait to play with the board.
We need to send you one.
Yes, I can't wait.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome. It's a pleasure.